I thank God for slavery. I thank God for the crack house. If it wasn't for the crack house, come on somebody, God wouldn't have never been able to use me how he can use me now. And if it wasn't for slavery, I might be somewhere in Africa worshiping a tree.
I understand we need to move beyond color. I'm not about that, but y'all raised it. If you start it, I'll end it for you. Don't start nothing, it won't be nothing. But we got a problem. Black people got a problem. Now we can move to color blindness and always look at the man by the content of his character, never the color of his skin. I'm down for that. You get my vote. Yay and amen. I'm for that. But before we get there, we need to hear some truth. Black people and white folk. Black people got a problem. And it's a God problem. When black people see the world, I don't care. You can train them. You can train a black man to be a physician. You can train him to be an astrophysicist. You can train him to be a lawyer, but you can't train him to understand the world. He doesn't know. I'm telling you. There's not 2 cents worth of difference between a mass murderer. There's not 2 cents of difference between a petty thief that's locked away in prison than a black doctor when it comes to understanding the world. Listen, you listen to me. We got to deal with this. And we need to begin to acknowledge it, talk about it, ask God to help us, because only God can help black people where they are. Black people had Africa, that big old continent over there. They never built one boat that was seaworthy. Not one. There's not one monument in Africa, in all of Africa. I know you're talking about Egypt. Egypt is not Africa. There are no great cities that were built. Even before the first colonization of white people coming to the shores of Africa or the slave ships, black men built nothing. No sewer system, no houses above one level, and none of them made out of stone. All of them made out of grass and wood. Black men, before the white man ever got to Africa. The worst thing that could ever happen to South Africa was when they gave it to Nelson Mandela and black folk. That was a great nation. Now, notwithstanding apartheid was wrong, we all know it's wrong. I'm against it. There should have been some other resolution, though, than turning it over to Nelson Mandela. Disease, AIDS, and crime is running wild in Johannesburg. They're killing one another over there. They're dying of sickness. The government is mismanaged. The people who ran the nation are now leaving the nation because black folk don't know how to run no nation. They don't know how, and we need to admit it. I know you don't like it, but you need to stop shucking and jiving. We got a problem. Nigeria produces oil every year, yet the children over there are hungry and pot-bellied and walking barefoot. We got a problem. You talk about the Hutus and the Tutsis. Look what's going on in Zimbabwe now with Mugabe. We got a problem, black folk. And forget about Zimbabwe and South Africa, Nigeria. Look at what y'all have done in Harlem. You can't even hold on to Harlem. We got a problem. Black folk don't understand the world. You can get mad with me all you want. You can say what you, but you can't prove me wrong. Now, I'm not saying this because I hate black folk. I'm saying it because I love you enough to tell the truth. And the only person going to ever help us get out of the situation is going to be God. There's something wrong with the black man's mind. There's something wrong with his mind. He does not understand the world. He doesn't. I don't care if he learned medicine. He doesn't understand the world. He can't even hold on to Harlem. When he was here, he moved out. We got to talk to the Lord. People, we got to talk to God. And black women, Shirley Chisholm, Harriet Tubman, Coretta King, one of her boys. Yeah, okay, then we got a black president. But you black women, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all gonna let that white woman, what's wrong with you black women? voting for Barack. Don't you understand? It should have been a black room if you're going to have a black president. What's wrong with you? Y'all ain't got no sense, you black women. Your men treat you like the dogs, like your dogs. They walk all over you. They make you pay the bills at home, and then the preachers pimp you in the churches and make you pay the bills. Y'all crazy black women buying these black men private jets, the tune of $50 million for a nigga to ride around in a private jet, and you talk about look at our pastor. What's wrong with y'all women? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And what's wrong with a black man that would take that kind of money out of a poor neighborhood and buy himself a private jet? What's wrong with y'all niggas? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, black women? What's wrong with you voting for Barack Obama? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy. Black people, let me tell y'all something. If you don't ever hear me say preach again, they can kill me tomorrow. Let me tell you something. We're not going to ever get anywhere until we look into the mind of a black man. He doesn't think correctly. I don't care what he is. He can be a doctor. He can be an astrophysicist. The nigga ain't got no sense. You talk to him. You talk to a black man. He doesn't understand the world. He's never built anything. The most the black people have ever done, they did it here in America under white people's help. When they were in Africa, they didn't do nothing.
Yeah. This is the cutting edge. The man said when black people in Africa, them not do nothing. Black people not build nothing. You see, that is the problem now when you look on black people here, so under colonialism and after colonialism, you feel say so black people did stay all the while. That is a big, big misconception about Africa and black people. That slavery make it look like we never create, invent, or do nothing when we did Africa. That man is a good example of a nincompoop who don't know nothing about him history. He claims say black people not build nothing. The only thing we build is building we build out of straw. Why is it a rasta? Egypt not in Africa. I know you're going to say Egypt, but Egypt is not in Africa. If we don't talk about Egypt, we could talk about Zimbabwe where I carried on. I know that the man never go to Zimbabwe go see the stone structures, stone out of stone. I don't know if the man ever go in West Africa, in Ethiopia, go see structures. The man said black people not build nothing. This is a preacher on a pulpit attacking congregation. We are trying to tell black people, say black people we in a mess. Of course we in a mess. We in a mess. Black people in a mess, a serious mess. But for sure history, for tell we say we never do nothing in Africa. And we never always do as long in Africa and I build straw house. It totally eradicate the message when I try to bring across. Totally eradicate it. How the hell in this modern time a black man can get up on a pulpit and ask, well, I have a surprise at it, but for actually say, what did black people do offer to the world? Nothing. We never ever build a ship. Then the king of Mali reached across us all. From West Africa. How he reach over here, so before Columbus. The man of the America Rasta, him a preach. You know, say the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, you know. It's a man like that, would like meat. Would like meat, a man, you know. And you know, so I'm going to meet him. Yeah, I'm going to meet him because I really want to ask him, if Egypt not in Africa, which part is there? Geographically, because that doesn't talk about geographical location. If Egypt not in Africa, then which part is there? We never build no house. We're higher than one house because I paid straw house. Nobody had easy, the Rasta. Nobody had easy. I want him to tell if it was king of some blood in the people because really and truly, our history never starts with slavery. And slavery is not history, African history. I will keep repeating that on this program that slavery is not African history. And when you take a people out of their own environment and put them in a strange place, and you put them in a shuttle like cattle, because the word shuttle comes from cattle, you know. Chattel slavery is cattle. And when you say them is not human being, and you do them to the same thing the way that do your animal them, you do to these human beings. And then now, after years and years of perpetual whipping and lashing and brainwashing, putting the fear of God in them, you have black people, and not only the man there, but you have black people who feel say black people don't make no contribution to civilization, none whatsoever. You have black people who think same way like the man there. You might look at the situation where black people find themselves in right now and not recognize this situation is an unfortunate situation. And it not going to be so forever. But for totally disconnect way from history. That when we're in Africa, we never do nothing. And I think I'm repeating, nothing. It's a terrible, terrible thing. Obviously, the man don't know nothing about Africa. Obviously, the man don't know nothing about West Africa, the Asante Kingdom. Obviously, the man don't know about the Zulu Kingdom. When we see all them kings in a Mali and in a Ghana and them place, when things them man they used to live in a straw house, where the immediate man they come from. After I'm done with the Bible about Egypt, because I'm done, so just like all the white people them usually put it, them used to disassociate because of the glory of Egypt. White people tell we say Egypt now in Africa, and the people them who create the pyramid wasn't black people. And that is the same thinking the man they have, and that is the same thinking a whole heap of people have about Africa when it come on to Egypt. And when I'm looking at Egypt today, I'm see some people there, and they must say, but them people, they are not black people. And them are Egyptian. Not knowing, say, over a period of time, the color of Egypt changed because of invasion. Because the majority of Arabs live in Egypt, the majority of Arabs don't live in Saudi Arabia. The majority of Arabs live in Egypt. And come there. With them religion and them culture. So when you really check it, that man like crazy, man. I mean, I understand where my tribe bring cross, I understand where my tribe say, but him totally warp up the whole message. Him totally warp it up. I totally understand what I say, but him totally warp up the message, Rasta. The message become null and void because of the other things them when say. Believe you me. Believe you me. It's a corrupt message him just send cross. Corrupt. Yeah, what a day when African people wake up. You heard somebody say about it, you know. When African people come together, the whole world will come together. Yeah, somebody say that. Somebody say also say that Africa's Armageddon has passed. I am interpreting that to mean slavery and chattel slavery. In a 60, I think I went 65, somewhere about there, his mother say, Africa Armageddon has passed. When I search for no more Armageddon, we see them try create one in Syria and Iraq there. We see America foreign policy crumbling little by little with all of these things that take place around them, surround them. But we recognize the Pan-Africanness of the totality of self and self-realization and how we must move forward. And one of the ways to move forward, is our cultural expression. And that is the highest form of revolution, a cultural revolution. Cultural revolution collapse whole heap of system by not even fire in a bullet. It's a pity a whole heap of so-called Pan-Africanists don't recognize how important culture is to the revolution. It's a pity that a whole heap of Pan-Africanists don't recognize how important it is to situate yourself in a cultural perspective that is visible. Visible. People afraid to be identified. But there will come a time that you have to identify yourself. You cannot sit down on the wall continuously, because they're going to liquid the wall too. Who are you? How come you look so? How come you eat so? How come you drink so? How come you talk so? How come you worship so? How come you have sex so? It's going to come a time when you have to identify yourself. So all them people who claim Africanness and Pan-Africanness and things say you're going to go escape because you say you're a Pan-Africanist and maybe I do certain things where a Pan-African is supposed to do. There will come a time when culture, all the disciplines them center around culture, every religion form out of a cultural expression. Every religion come out of a cultural expression. And most religion never start out as religion either. But it was the way of the people defining themselves in their environment and in the time and in the space that them find themselves in. These people started to ask questions that could not be answered in them circle, amongst them ministers and amongst them queen and kings and amongst them guru and amongst them elders. It couldn't be answered, so they look for answers outside of them. And sometimes when you can't understand something, you get superstitious. Stevie Wonder have a tune named Superstition. Listen to that tune there. Stevie Wonder tune named Superstition. And read the word, check the words of that song there. Sometimes when you don't understand something, it leads to superstition. And that is what happens when man, in a cultural expression, trying to define himself in the fullness of life and the fullness of creation. He wants something to explain that. And the elders couldn't tell him. But the people who ask the question eventually become elders and start to explain it from their perspective. Thus, the creation of God. A man in a different environment create God to suit him cultural expression. The problem with it is that black people who have God lack allow a group of people to enslave them and steal them cultural expression and make it become a religious perspective and give them back as just a little leaf, not the root. But when you start to go back to the root now, you know, the same black people then beg and say, what kind of foolish is that? Or you come to that? Because if you now use the slave master logics to define yourself, you either is outcasted or they call you escapist or just downright stupid. So all of the things them where we define in our expression is based upon a next man's cultural expression. It have nothing to do with we. Nothing at all. The clothes we wear have nothing to do with we. Nothing at all. Our worldview have nothing to do with we. Nothing at all. We are looking at the world from the perspective of the colonizers. And we don't want to study Africa